secrets that hide. So come on in and take a seat. Get ready for a show where anything can happen and the energy will flow. Welcome to the fun house where the music's loud and the lights are bright. A one-of-a-kind experience that will keep you up all night. You might get just Paul, or maybe one of his friends. Jazzy the Jester, Max the Magnificent, Logan the Legend. They're all here to take you on a ride. So join Paul and friends and let the good times roll. In the world of the fun house, where anything goes, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Paul's Fun House. We are on to part 3 of The Unknown. And how can you make it through a series about the unknown without talking about the occult? And that is exactly what we are going to do today. So, without further ado, let's dive right into part 3 of The Unknown. The occult. The occult is a category of esoteric or supernatural beliefs and practices which generally fall outside the scope of organized religion and science, encompassing phenomena involving a hidden or secret agency, such as magic and mysticism. It can also refer to paranormal ideas such as extrasensory perception and parapsychology. I discovered today that you can actually get a degree in parapsychology. Part of me wants to do so, but we'll have to dive into that at a later time. The term occult sciences was used in the 16th century in Europe to refer to astrology, alchemy, and natural magic. The term occultism emerged in 19th century France. It came to be associated with various French esoteric groups, and in 1875 was introduced into the English language. Throughout the 20th century, the term occult was used by a wide range of different authors, and by the 21st century, the term occultism was commonly employed to refer to a range of esoteric currents that developed in the mid-19th century and their descendants. Use of the term as a normalized adjective, the occult, has developed especially since the late 20th century. And I know a lot of people think, oh, the occult, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Pinhead, things like that. Well, as you're going to learn and have already started to learn, there's definitely a little more to it. The idea of occult sciences was developed in the 16th century. The term usually encompassed 3 practices: astrology, alchemy, and natural magic, although sometimes various forms of divination were also included rather than being subsumed under natural magic. These were grouped together because, according to a Dutch scholar, each one of them engaged in a systematic investigation of nature and natural processes, in the context of theoretical frameworks that relied heavily on a belief in occult qualities, virtues, or forces. Although there are some areas of overlap between these different occult sciences, they are separate, and in some cases, practitioners of one would reject the other as being illegitimate. During the Age of Enlightenment, occultism increasingly came to be seen as incompatible with the concept of science. From that point on, use of occult sciences implied being against mainstream science. Nevertheless, the philosopher and card game historian Michael Dumet, whose analysis of the historical evidence suggested that fortune-telling and occult interpretations using cards were unknown before the 18th century, said that the term occult sciences was not misplaced because People who believe in the possibility of unveiling the future or exercising supernormal powers to do so because the efficiency of the methods they employ coheres with some systematic concept which they hold on the way the universe functions, however flimsy its empirical basis. In his 1871 book, Primitive Culture, the anthropologist Edward Tyler used the term occult scientist as a synonym for magic. So, what are some of the modern uses of the term occult? The term occult has been used as a substantivized adjective as the occult, a term that has been practically widely used among journalists and sociologists. This term was popularized by the publication of Colin Wilson's 1971 book, The Occult. This term has been used as an intellectual wastebasket into which a wide array of beliefs and practices have been placed because they do not fit readily into the categories of religion or science. The occult is a category in which gets placed a range of beliefs from spirits or fairies to parapsychological experiments, from UFO abductions to Oriental mysticisms, from vampire legends to channeling, and so on. Occulture. The neologism occulture, used within the industrial music scene of the late 20th century, was probably coined by one of its central figures, the musician and occultist Genesis P. Orridge. The scholar of religion, Christopher Partridge, used the term in an academic sense, stating that occulture was the new spiritual environment in the West, the reservoir feeding new spiritual springs, the soil in which new spiritualities are growing. Recently, scholars have offered perspectives on the occult as intertwined with media and technology. Examples include the work of film and media theorist Jeffrey Sconce and religious studies scholar John Durham Peters, both of whom suggest that occult movements historically utilize media and apparatuses as tools to reveal hidden aspects of reality or laws of nature. Eric Davis, in his book Technosis, gives an overview of occultism, both ancient and modern, from the perspective of cybernetics and information technologies. Philosopher Eugene Thacker discusses 3 books of occult philosophy in his book In the Dust of This Planet, where he shows how the horror genre utilizes occult themes to reveal hidden realities. This episode of Paul's Funhouse is being brought to you by the Kicking Out Podcast. Follow them on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. It's a wrestling podcast focusing on AEW each and every week. You can join Tanner Lee, Austin Shepard, and myself as we talk all things AEW. We'll get into some other stuff as well, but our main focus is AEW. And the fantastic news about the Kicking Out podcast is they've got great merchandise. So you can support a great podcast and look fantastic doing so. All you need to do is go to kickingoutshop.com to support a great podcast and look fantastic doing so. And there's some great news all August long. You can enter promo code FUNHOUSE and get free shipping on your entire order. It's kickingoutshop.com, promo code FUNHOUSE, FUNHOUSE, for free shipping on your entire order. So check out kickingoutshop.com today and get your Kicking Out Podcast merchandise. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. So with that information on the occult, not only do we get to see that the horror genre utilizes the beliefs of the occult, but we get a little bit better understanding of it, and we get to see that the occult is all around us. The occult has kind of been pushed off and kind of frowned upon in recent days. In my opinion, it's being lumped into categories of people who don't know what they're talking about, people who are a little crazy, people who struggle from mental health disorders, or people who just don't understand reality at all. To me, that is not the case. The occult are people who just don't fall into the norm. And there's nothing wrong with not falling into the norm. I mean, I don't fall into the norm. And as we see, there's talk of magic within the occult. And I'm a big fan of magic. I'm a big fan of mythological creatures, especially the dragon, as we talked about on Wednesday. So I think that tying in these mythological creatures into the occult has already been done, will continue to be done, and maybe through occult sciences, we will start to understand exactly what the occult is and maybe get some answers to the what ifs that I presented on Monday. Now, again, you can get a degree in parapsychology. This is new to me. I haven't done much research on it yet, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself because this has now caught my attention. I was researching exactly what I wanted to talk about today, and I kind of stumbled across it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I knew you could get a degree of sorts in studies of ancient alien type stuff, but to find out about parapsychology really grabbed my attention because with the way I look at things, I'm really interested in possibly pursuing a degree in parapsychology. I'll have to look into it, exactly see what it is and what it pertains. But I think in the meantime, we can continue to do research on the occult on our own, research on mythological creatures on our own, and within mythological creatures, don't forget there are ancient gods and goddesses from Norse mythology, Greek mythology, all sorts of places you can find information on the ancient gods and goddesses, the old gods and goddesses, as some people refer to them as. And I think all of this kind of ties together, and that's why I'm really interested in the parapsychology degree. Again, I'm going to have to do more research on it, but understanding the occult a little better, I think, is always a beneficial thing because we get to see how others view the world. We know how we view the world, but how do others view the world? And, I mean, as we're looking back at this, I want to go back to the very beginning of where I started. The occult is a category of supernatural beliefs and practices which generally fall outside the scope of organized religion and science. Alright? So, studying the occult means, yes, you're going to look into religion, you're going to look into science, but you're also going to look past that. Things outside of what you're used to. I mean, in school, we all know how to dissect the frog, and we know head to toe what the human body's like from science and biology. And we all grew up with religion, whether it be Christianity, paganism, Wicca, whatever it may be. We all have our own religious backgrounds. Now, I mentioned Wicca, and Wicca is one of the religions that fall within the occult, as well as spiritualism, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, New Age, and the Left Hand Path and Right Hand Path. I don't know much about the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, New Age, Left Hand Path, or Right Hand Path, but these are things that I can always look into if that's something you're interested in. You know, if you think back to the 16th century when the term occult scientist was first used, it just meant astrology, alchemy, and natural magic. Those things were seen as phenomena. You know, a lot of times doing science was considered to be doing magic. Understanding astrology was considered to be magic. A lot of people, when you think of Merlin, you think of this great magician. But if you actually look at the story of Merlin, he practiced science. Now, I'm not saying magic isn't real. I believe 100% magic is real. And I believe everybody can do magic if done properly. And no, I'm not talking about pick a card, any card, sleight of hand, things like that. I'm talking about real, legit magic. It is real, in my opinion, and you cannot change my mind on that. But again, Merlin was just doing science for the most part. Alchemy, natural magic, astrology, science. So, let that sink in for a little bit as you head into the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends about Paul's Funhouse. Go find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Paul's Funhouse, or at Paul's Funhouse are great ways you can find me. Be sure to leave a comment. I'm going to continue to try to respond to every comment that I can as it comes up. It may not be right away, but I promise to get to the comments when I can. Hopefully be back Monday with another video, and hopefully we'll have some guests. So stay tuned for Paul's Funhouse on Monday. What we're going to talk about, I don't know. But this brings the unknown to an end for right now. We've done 3 parts. I think what ifs, mythological creatures, and the occult are 3 great things to cover in this series known as The Unknown. I'll probably do more series as we go along, and I'll probably touch on these topics down the road as well. So be sure to, again, hit like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, all that good YouTube stuff. Stay tuned and stay weird.
This has been Paul's Funhouse, where the party never ends with all your friends. Tell all your buddies it's gonna be a wild ride. Join us next time for more fun and games. Like and subscribe, spread the word, it's not the same without you. Tell all your friends, we'll see you real soon at Paul's Funhouse. Join us next time and be part of the fun with Paul and his friends. Stay weird and stay tuned for more. We'll see you next time at Paul's Funhouse.